Hello there, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the Pumpkin Patch. If you're new here, hello, my name is Kloee Taylor, and on this channel, I believe we have the most cozy, vibey, autumnal corner of the internet. And today's reading, I'm very excited. We are doing 3 separate piles, and this is going to be everything that your guides have been trying to get through to you, your angels. I imagine it's going to be kind of a lot of information. I expect this to be quite detailed, and each reading is actually going to be very, very personalized. And you'll see that when we get into the cards, how like each reading is going to be very different. So in any case, I will leave some timestamps down below. I will also give you some time to sit here and meditate with these different decks. Pile number 1 right here is going to be with the Zeke's Arcana Tarot. Pile number 2 is going to be the Rainbow Heart Tarot, and pile number 3 is going to be Dreamy Moons Tarot. All are fantastic, beautiful artwork from independent creators, and links for everything down below, of course. But we're going to be using these decks as well as a combination of other cards to get a very detailed and specific reading. And basically, this energy is like, yo, your spirit guides, they just want to talk. They just want to talk. They want to tell you what's up. So if you've been feeling lost or like you need some guidance, or if you know somebody in your life right now that really is feeling stuck or lost or needing guidance, I would encourage you to send them this video, because I really do believe we're going to get to the bottom of some ish today. But in any case, I'm going to go ahead, turn up the meditation music, give you some time to make a decision, and then we will be getting into it, starting from pile 1. Hello there, pile number 1. Right before we get into this reading, which I'm so excited, it's going to be so ultra personalized, I just wanted to give a shout out to today's sponsor, which is Tarot Stack, for sponsoring today's video. Tarot Stack is actually an online store that it works to get independent and hard to find decks, tarot decks, out into the world. And each of the decks in today's reading actually came from Tarot Stack. They are a company I've worked with multiple times. I've shown you multiples of their decks. They're somebody I will always agree to work with because they put out quality work. And recently, they have also started producing their own decks, and currently they have a pre-order that just opened up for the Creatives Compass Oracle deck, which I can literally not wait to get my hands on. This deck looks so fracking cool. I genuinely cannot wait to have it in my hands. So make sure you check out Tarot Stack for some incredible independent decks, and the deck that you chose in particular too, like I said, every deck is from there today, but look at how cool this one is. This is one of my more recent favorites. It's very like Lisa Frank energy with like the color palette and whatnot, but this one's actually called Zeke's Arcana Tarot cards, and they're just good energy. We're using them in your reading today. Like I said, though, every deck is from there, so check them out down below. All the links will be provided for every deck, but let's get into it. So for your ultra personalized reading, the 4 cards that your guides want to give you more information about. This is information that's going to help you, okay? That was like the main intention for this reading, was these are things that maybe you don't even know you need to hear about because you just either haven't been listening, haven't stopped to ask, or they haven't had a way to give it to you in a way that makes sense. So you have, first and foremost, ancestry, generations, DNA. You have balance, which also says to stabilize, to return to the now, to find equilibrium and harmony. We also have the card of ego, which is a shadow work card. And it says, sorry, I need to bring this closer to my face. Your girl wears glasses. What are the false and problematic beliefs that you have about yourself in the world? What are the perceptions of yourself that are not aligned with the truth of who you are? What masks are you wearing? So you're going to get a lot of information with that one. And then we also have a seeker card. And it actually is the seeker. And it says, use this card to represent you, who you are, what you may be thinking or feeling, and how you are positioned in a situation or relationship right now. So we're going to learn about that today too. And we're going to start first with the ancestry, generations, and DNA and see what they wanted you to know about that. So you got this with the 8 of Wands. Now, the 8 of Wands card, in my opinion, it's about like fast, rapid action and multiple opportunities. So something that you need to be reminded of, pile number 1, especially if you're somebody that's really trying to like undo generational trauma, maybe you're a cycle breaker yourself, your guides are showing up to remind you that you didn't just receive trauma from your ancestors. You also receive blessings. There are things that because of how you were brought in and like the line that you came from, there are things that you are given as strengths as well. So I guess a way to like put this into perspective is in my own life, if y'all listen to my podcast, Divine Authenticity, links down below, and a YouTube channel now, by the way. We also have YouTube video podcast episodes, shameless self-plug. But I talk about a lot on my podcast how I was raised in a really traumatic upbringing. Both of my parents are abusive people, and having to like come to terms with that in my adult life, and how I've also become a cycle breaker in my own family. And I used to think about all of the problems that came from like my dad being raised by abusive people and my mom being raised by abusive people, and how like, gosh, it was just like line after line after line, right? Even into my great grandparents, especially on my dad's side. And this was something I would like really obsess over. But it wasn't until more recently that I recognized that I also gained strength from that family line, not necessarily to like endure hardship, but to want to do it differently. That is a gift as well. Like, I also think about in general, all of the women that have come before me and maybe have wanted to live the way that I live. Like, I'm a woman in my 30s. I am married, but I have no children, no plans of having children. I run my own business. I live not in the same state as the bulk of my family. Like, those are things that I feel like women even 50 years ago, there are people in my own line that would have loved to have done that. And I get to have the gift of, even though I brought a lot of those things into my own life, because of the examples that were given to me, the choices that were made before me, I have created something different. I mean, shoot, even my own dad is an entrepreneur himself. If I did not have an entrepreneur paving the way in front of me, I don't know that I would have been a second generation entrepreneur. You know, seeing that somebody could make their own way and have a stable life is a gift in its own way. So I feel like with this like rapid opportunity, this is something that's like, you need to realize that I'm not saying that we need to victim blame or trauma blame or any of that. Like, please know that this is never my intention with my readings, and I don't know your specific situation. But some of the things that you have endured in this lifetime, you have endured them because you're meant to turn them around and do something different. And I can honestly tell you, without my upbringing, I would not be the person that I am today. I would not have the confidence, the boundaries, the sensitivity. I would not have the ability to have such an open heart, because I also feel like when your heart is broken a lot, especially from a really young age by people that are supposed to love you, right? Biologically programmed to love you. It's really easy to become somebody that also closes yourself off from the world. And you have not done that, right? And this is why you have so much opportunity and ability to transform. And I know that it's hard. Being a cycle breaker is fucking hard. Like, is not easy work, but you're here doing it. And Next, we have balance. So to stabilize, to return to the now, to find equilibrium and harmony, this is what has to happen. We have the death card, and this doesn't mean you literally have to die. Please know that the death card very rarely, if ever, means literal death in tarot, and most readers will not read about that regardless, including myself. So this is about, in order to achieve balance, you are going to have to let an old version of yourself go. And this is something that I also feel like we don't always talk about a lot, but your new life is going to cost you your old one. If you want to uplevel your life, if you want to create change, if you want a new kind of stability, you have to get rid of the idea, like the version of yourself that doesn't align with where you're trying to go. I'm not saying you need to just like pick up and discard all of the past versions of you because they've been helpful for a reason. We don't need to just like, bye Felicia with our past versions of self, but you do need to let outdated beliefs go. So this is so apparent too when you're trying to create your dream life, when you have conflicting ideas, when you have an idea that's like, I really want to become like somebody that has like my dream body. Okay. That's just an example. But you also have a belief that's like, getting my dream body is so hard, and cooking dinner is so hard, and going to work out every day is so hard. You have beliefs that literally contradict each other. On one hand, you want to become this version of yourself that you believe is in there and you believe is possible, but you have all these contradicting beliefs that tell you why you can't have it. You need to start listening to those beliefs and finding ways to basically unearth them, let them go, let them flow through you and out, because they're not serving where you're trying to go. And this is how you're going to create more balance in your life. If you're feeling really ungrounded, really uneasy, uncertain of the future, not sure the direction that you're going, you have to start doing the internal work. And I'm not just saying this because I want to sell you on something. I would never mention this unless I actually felt like it was pertinent to the reading. If you are looking for a tool on how to do something like this and you feel like you don't know what you're doing, I have a $12 workbook and an audio guide that will literally lead you through working on your internal world. It's on my website, KhloeTaylor.com. It's linked down below for you. It's my course on finding the authentic self. And through the work in that workbook and the audio guides that come with it, you can meet these parts of yourself that have these contradicting beliefs and actually have conversations with them to help them work through it so you can move on with your life and with your day. So again, I'm not just bringing that up because I want you to like to me, that wasn't the point. I would have charged a lot more money for that if I wanted to make a bunch of money off of it. I mention it because I actually think that this creates change in people's lives, and I believe in it so much because it is the work that helped me, and that's why I made it. But the point is, if you feel like you need more of that and you need someone to help you, I have already created a way that you can work on that. And I really wholeheartedly believe that that process does work because I've seen it work in my own life. So regardless of if you do that or not, this death card, though, is how you're going to get the balance that you're looking for. You have to let things go. And you're not going to be able to keep conflicting ideas while you're trying to move forward. It's like you can, but you're going to be facing an uphill battle instead of just letting things be easy. Now, the ego card. So remember, this one said, what are the false and problematic beliefs that you have about yourself and the world? Oh my gosh, literally what we were just talking about. What are the perceptions of yourself that you are not aligned with? The truth of who you are? What masks are you wearing? Ooh, this is going to hurt. Bestie, you do not have to work hard to be successful. Life is not hard. You are making it hard. And I know that that is hard to hear, but 10 of Wands is literally the card of fighting an uphill battle. It is the card of putting way too much on your plate, being hyper independent. Hyper independence is not cute. Hyper independence is a trauma response. It's not something like you need to delegate. And if you're not in a position where you feel like you can afford to delegate, you got to take some things off your plate or change the belief that you have to hustle so ridiculously hard to make it in a successful way. Because no, you don't. There are so many people out there that will post like the lamest TikTok over like the stupidest audio just for funsies that like blow up for no reason. The algorithm, online spaces do not care about how much effort you put into something. And I'm talking to my creatives out there. Your guides are getting kind of irritated with this shit. So that's why it's coming out the way it's coming out. But there are people that put in so much less effort than you do and make so much money for basically doing nothing. And you can be one of those people. You do not have to work yourself until you have nothing left for you in order to succeed. And the more you keep perpetuating that belief, it is all your ego talking. Your ego thinks that. And it might have been because it was modeled to you. We need to make room for the nuance in this conversation, okay? This doesn't mean that this was your fault. I'm not telling you this because it's your fault. You could have been given this subset of beliefs, and now it's your job, now that you're aware, to change it. You have the power to change this belief. You do not need to hold on to this belief that you have to hustle or work so hard or maintain X amount of jobs or you're putting too much on you. And I'm saying these things to you, and your guides are saying these things to you because they want better for you too, as does Kloee Taylor, as do I. I want better for you, bestie. You deserve more than this. And you have to stop pushing yourself so hard. If you don't have the means to delegate tasks right now, it's time to reformulate the plan. Focus on the things that you actually really love doing and keep doing those. This doesn't mean that you're never going to have a hard day. This doesn't mean that you're never going to like have to put in effort. But I feel like you're somebody that always goes like full steam ahead. And this is great. It's probably gotten you a lot of good things in life, but eventually you will burn out on this energy. And then the Seeker card, which we have more cards after this too. The Seeker card, this one said, use this card to represent you, who you think you are, what you may be thinking, feeling, and how you're positioned in a situation or relationship right now. So we have you as the Chariot, and I actually really like this. I feel like this is how your guides see you, is as the Chariot, which is so cute, because the Chariot is the card of somebody that has tenacity, somebody that has the willingness to go the distance. Like cue the song the Hercules song, I can go the distance. I know every mile will be worth my while. Like go listen to that song. It's a good one. You are somebody that will go the distance, that will actually take action. Like if you put some shit on your Pinterest board, you're not one of those people that pins it and leaves it alone. You want to do those things. You have the tenacity. You have the audacity. And your guides know this about you, that you will do things. You will create things. You will make things. And you genuinely seek out every single opportunity. And this is not something that they want you to lose about yourself. It's actually a gift. And it's your higher self that shines through when this archetype is activated. So keep this about you is what they're saying. Now we do have some more cards, of course. You don't think I would just leave us there. I do have a couple of these cards from the Ocean Dreams Oracle, and I'm not as familiar with this deck, so we are going to read a little bit out of the book today. But you have Inner Alchemy and Temple of Dreams. This deck is so dreamy. I'm obsessed with it. Tarot Stack really popping off with offering this one for sure. But let's go ahead and see. We're going to start with the Inner Alchemy because it was the card that was actually on top. I'm just going to flip through the book until there it is. Inner Alchemy. This card, Pearls of Wisdom, thriving after difficulties, turning triggers into growth. Wow. Okay. I'm not going to read the entire page because it's quite long. I'm just going to read the section of like what this is really about. So, like the gentle breeze that serenades the goddess to shore, the card celebrates your rebirth after a period of intensity. The making of a masterpiece requires time and effort. So too does the refinement of your soul light. Have patience in yourself as you slowly but surely turn triggers into growth. You are ready to unveil a naked, authenticity born of alchemical life experience. Beyond the trials and tribulations is your heaven on earth. You will indeed flourish. There is also a temporal quality to this card as it speaks of integrating the lessons and skills your soul has gained over many lifetimes, distilling them into, I got the chills, distilling them into precious gems of love and wisdom. In this incarnation, you are meant to ascend to the next level and shine your soul light brighter than ever before. Wow. Your guides just told me, this might not be resonating for everybody, but like if you get the chills when I say this, it was for you. Your guides just told me that you actually have incarnated in your family line more than once. Like you are like a great grandparent of your family line. And you're here because you had unfinished business in your family. That's so freaking cool. I love it when I get downloads like that. Okay, Temple of Dreams is your other card. Oh, that card actually kind of got me in my feelings. I'm not going to lie to you about it. Like my eyes got a little bit misty. Okay, Temple of Dreams. Temptations, options, opportunities, illusion, and all that glitters is not gold. This one says, sometimes less is more, and the simplest route will be the one that best serves you. If you are suddenly faced with multiple choices or a complex decision to make, measure your options from a deeper place of spirit. If you focus on the route that best serves your heart rather than what may seem seductive or popular, it will blossom in return. Gauge how each outcome feels and then go with the option that feels most sustainable. Navigate your path from the fullness of your spirit, and you may come across entirely new dimensions that were previously obscured. Trust the subtle whispers. Which door will you choose? Interesting. So I feel like this one is also reminding you, like, there are so many doors available to you. Because remember, we also got that card of opportunity, right? Those 8 wands. There are opportunities that will always beckon you, but it's really important that you choose the ones that are in highest alignment with you. Don't settle. Then we have patience, long road ahead, reward awaits. So I feel like you really are on the patient path right now. You might not necessarily feel patient, but you are on a path that you are currently in alignment. But it is going to take some continuous progressing before you see that fully fulfilled. And then we have open your heart to the magic around you. So how can you bring more magic to your mundane life? Magic in the mundane is like everything, like making your water drinking a fantastic experience, making your hot girl walk, hot guy, hot person walk a fantastical experience. How can you bring more of that energy into your day-to-day life? And then the last 2 cards I have for you are more like questions that these are meant to be like journaled upon, or if you just want to take a moment to ponder about them, I would recommend that. We have, what does happiness mean to me? So this is all about like redefining success. And I also want to encourage, listen to this coming Monday's podcast. I'm going to talk about this topic in particular. If you're unsure of what that means, redefining success for yourself, we're going to get into that on Monday, bright and early on the podcast. I already filmed it. So the next one is, what am I avoiding right now and why? Is there something you're avoiding starting or doing or questioning? Maybe it's literally questioning the prompts that I just gave you. What are you avoiding right now and why? And all answers are acceptable. It doesn't mean you have to like pick yourself apart, just to make that clear. But that is what I have for you, pile number 1. Please don't forget to check out Tarot Stack. Thank you, Tarot Stack, for sponsoring today's video. You know I love your decks. Oh, so fabulous. So fabulous. I own so many of them and never a disappointment in the bunch, ever. Every single deck you saw here today is from Tarot Stack. And if you'd like to find me around the web, if you'd like to support me more, please check out my Patreon, where I just am putting out Taurus. If they're not out yesterday, they will be out today. Taurus predictions are coming out for Taurus season for your signs. Those are available on Patreon. There's an exclusive reading that just went out that's similar to this one, but because I take the energy from a smaller group of people, or channel it rather, it's easier, or like it's more detailed in my opinion. And we have more readings coming out literally every single week. There is weekly energy updates. My Patreon is just like literally the best way to support me as a creator. So if you want to do that, I would certainly appreciate it. If you would like to take it one step further, I have my course, Finding the Authentic Self. It's $12 on KhloeTaylor.com. If you would like to book me for a personalized reading, you can do so also at KhloeTaylor.com. And a restock has just happened, so make sure you get them while you can. I offer astrology charts as well as an assortment of other kinds of readings. And if you want to follow me everywhere else, I'm at Kloee Taylor. I have the official handle. We got that blue check on Instagram, so the impersonators can knock it off. And if you would like to listen in even more to more wisdom, I have my podcast, Divine Authenticity. New episodes every single Monday, 4:44 a.m. We also have a YouTube channel for it if you want to watch the podcast the same day. And everything will be available for you down below, including links to all of these decks. And I love you so much. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I will talk to you again real soon. Bye. Hello there, pile number 2, and welcome in. Before we get into your reading, I just want to mention that today's video is sponsored by Tarot Stack. Thank you so much to them. If you are unaware, Tarot Stack is actually an online store where you can purchase independent and hard to find tarot decks. And in fact, each of the decks that I've used in today's reading, they are all from Tarot Stack. And right now they actually have a pre-order opened up for their newest deck that they have created called the Creative's Compass Oracle. And when I tell you this deck is so pretty, I cannot wait to actually have it physically in my hands. Like, oh, I just want it like right now. I'm very excited about it. And that pre-order is available to you now if you want to go and check it out. And like I said, all the decks that I've used today are going to be available over there. Links for everything will be down below. So thank you so much, Tarot Stack. And let's get into it. Also, this was the deck that you chose, the Rainbow Heart Tarot. So I just wanted to show it to you a little bit more. It's so like, I love the simplicity of the art, but also the color choices. I just feel like they're good energy. Fantastic. And the sides, of course, can't forget. We got that little hollow detail. She cute. You're going to see more of these ones in your reading because it was the deck you chose. But first and foremost, how this deck is going to be ultra personalized to you is these first 4 cards, because everybody's reading got different cards and we channeled those in from spirit. So everybody's reading is actually super personalized to what you actually need to hear about from your guides right now. So you got, and I will have to pick these up and read them because your girl wears glasses. I don't know if you knew that, but we do not have 20/20 vision. And so I am going to have to pick these up to read them. But you got the card of expression, and it says creative and self-expression, the way you choose to convey conscious or unconsciously on an idea, an opinion, or an emotion. We have dreams, true calling, vision. And we're going to have cards that will help explain these. So you'll see what I mean in a minute. We have wound, which is a shadow work card. And it says, how have you been hurt in the past? What is the wound that you still carry? Which part of you still suffers and what needs to be healed? And then we also have a gratitude card under light work. And it says, what can you appreciate right now? What do you need to do to practice and invite gratitude into your life? So these are all of the like questions and ideals that your guides really felt you needed to hear the most. So we're going to get some guidance on that. And then I also, of course, it wouldn't be a reading for me if we didn't have some extra oracle cards on top. So first and foremost, your expression. Okay. And I love this. I'm looking at the card right now that describes this, and like, you are my people. I just need you to know, pile number 2, if you chose this pile, you are my people. You are part of the soul circle of Kloee Taylor, because this is my energy too. So creative and expressive, the way in which you choose to convey consciously or unconsciously on an idea, an opinion, or an emotion. We have the Queen of Pentacles. I always tell everybody who will listen that Kloee Taylor, out of all the court cards in tarot, she's the Queen of Pentacles. You better believe. And it is Taurus season. It is my birthday season. I know that the Queen of Pentacles, I want to say, is technically Virgo's card, but I feel like Tauruses could get it too. You know, Tauruses could really fit in there. But Queen of Pentacles under expression. So what this says to me is your expression, be it artistic, be it your podcasting, be it how you talk to people in your life, no matter how you are expressing yourself through art, through sound, through words, through writings, you bring regal energy to the table. This is like automatically luxurious energy. It doesn't mean that you are like obsessed with luxury. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, you might be, which no shame in your game, by the way. I feel like I'm a little luxury obsessed, but I feel like Tauruses is just kind of how we are. This also doesn't mean that you're a Taurus, but it means that you bring the energy of luxuriousness. So like being with you, because you express yourself this way, you are an experience to be had, okay? From the way that you look, the way that you speak, the way you move your body, the way that you articulate, collect, or express anything. People want to hear more. You are captivating because you give so much. The Queen of Pentacles is like that fertile, I don't mean like fertile, like actually like making children, but like fertile in the sense of like you're fertile with ideas, fertile with concepts, fertile with opinions. I mean, it could be actually bringing life into the world if that's your thing. But to me, because Queen of Pentacles represents the Queen of Earth, it's about that, right? The fertile land, the fertile soil. So the way that you express yourself is in that queen-like archetype, in that energy of regalness, luxuriousness. And honestly, that might be intimidating to some people. I don't know if you've ever been told that you're intimidating, but rest assured that you're not intimidating. They are intimidated, and there is a difference. You're not intimidating. You're just being yourself. Let them choke is honestly the energy we're in right now. Now, dreams, true calling, vision. This is like what your calling is right now. If you've been confused about it, this is what your guides wanted you to know and understand. We have the Magician. So listen, some of y'all are going to absolutely love this vibe. Some of you are going to hate it. Not because it's a bad thing. It's actually a wonderful thing, but I feel like if you get this message repeatedly, it can be annoying if you don't know what to do with it. So hopefully we're going to get to the bottom of that within this reading. But you got the Magician, and this is somebody that literally bends energy to work for them. So this means in life, you have anything that you need to do what you're trying to do. And this doesn't mean that like you have, $1 million in your bank account and you're just ready to do anything with the material needs that you have. What I mean is anything you want to create right now, you have the right skill set. You have the right opinions. You have the right eye to detail. And you have what you need to create. Something that I love to remind people is, especially if you're looking to get into the creative sphere in any kind of capacity, we are in the most blessed timeline. I know if you open the news even for 1 second, you will be convinced otherwise, that this is not the most blessed timeline and things are real messed up. I'm not trying to tell you that there aren't real world problems. I'm not trying to make little of them either. There are really big problems in the world. However, what I can tell you is for creatives, we are actually in the highest timeline because never has it been easier at any point in history to put yourself out there. Never. We have the ability to literally send things in milliseconds to each other through emails, through putting yourself out there on social media, to having access to have supplies shipped directly to your house, whatever you need. And it's actually easier than ever before. You don't have to go travel to some other land to go get some special paint. You don't have to, hope that somebody witnesses your work that's passing through your town, or, you can just put yourself out there. You can put yourself out there yourself now. And you have the opportunity to be seen by millions because everybody's online in this day and age. And I bring all of this to your attention because the Magician is the card of somebody that has everything they need to move forward. And it's like every tool of the universe is available to you. You have the ability to get into the right emotional set point. You have the ability to bring about the creative desire. You have the ability to speak what you want into existence. And you have the ability to make money in general if that's what's missing. Because the Magician is somebody that has every tool ready and available to them. And literally that's what's like on the table in front of him. So dreams, true calling is whatever the hell you want it to be. Because, and I know that's not an answer everybody wants to hear, you want it to be more specific, but the magician is non-specific. It's literally whatever you want to create, you can make it real. If you want to be a singer, make it real. If you want to be an artist, make it real. If you want to be a woodworker, make it real. If you want to be an influencer, make it real. You have the ability to make this real. And that vision is calling for a reason. And then we have a wound. What have you been hurt in the past? What is the wound that you still carry? Which part of you still suffers? What needs to be healed? We have the Queen of Swords. Ooh, Chile. And yes, I said Chile. Everybody's always like, it's pronounced Chile. No, my husband is 100% Chicano and it's Chile. But at least it's culturally, it could be different somewhere else. I'm not trying to say that it cannot be pronounced any other way, but from where I'm from, Southern California, my husband of now 10 years this year, we say it Chile. But Queen of Swords, this is your wound, okay? And this hurts. Look, there's even a heart with a sword going straight through it. Where you have been wounded is in the way that you speak. Somebody took your voice from you, and not literally. I mean, maybe literally, but it's like somebody cut you down to the point that you feel like you shouldn't speak, that you think your ideas are stupid, or maybe you feel like you can't sing, or something about your voice in general is wounded. And it means you need to start working with that throat chakra, honey, because the Queen of Swords is the queen, literally, of speaking her truth, putting herself out there, saying what needs to be said, holding the appropriate boundaries. And if you feel like your boundaries are never respected, you never feel like you can speak up because it's scary, this is a wound that you're holding on to from the past. And maybe you don't even know consciously where it comes from. Maybe when you feel like you want to confront something head on, you get really tense in your body and you feel like you can't. The magic in this is your triggers are actually your teachers. When you feel like that in the moment, it's being presented to you to show you where you need to dig a little bit deeper and work to overcome. Because I promise you, as somebody that is recovered, not recovering, recovered, I am a recovered people pleaser. I do not do that shit anymore. It took me a really long time to get past it, but I am like the queen of boundaries now. But it's possible. You are able to heal those parts. And if you just needed somebody else that has been through that to tell you that it's possible, I will be that person today, okay? It is possible to heal that part of your life. It is possible to regain your voice and to feel like you can speak up for yourself. And in fact, it's in your best interest to work on that because your voice matters. If you don't use your voice, people also won't know how to treat and respect you if you do not have the self-respect to tell people what you need. And it's not always your fault. It's not always a personal thing, right? It is personal, but it's not always your fault. Sometimes this is something that was done to you. But now that you're aware, now that you're here, it is your responsibility to work through this. And gosh, I promise, I said this in pile number 1 as well. I'm not just looking for a place to talk about this. I really do believe that like that work, I don't need to talk about it. But if ever I see something in a reading where I feel like it actually applies, I always want to mention it because not everybody knows. A lot of people that aren't subscribed to me come through this channel and don't know. I created a $12 course on my website. It's called The Authentic Self, and I really believe in that work. I made it that price on purpose so that it would be more accessible to people. If you are having a hard time figuring out where this wounding is coming from and you need to let it out or meet it where it is, that course will help you do it. It is a 20-page workbook with an audio guide that will lead you through meeting this part of yourself if you want to heal from this and become somebody who doesn't people please and become somebody who sets boundaries and stands up for yourself. I promise you that work will help. It's a great tool to have in your back pocket. Link for that, of course, always down below. But Queen of Swords energy, that's what this is. This is feeling wounded in the voice, feeling like you can't speak up for yourself or that you cannot have boundaries. And I promise you, you can, and the right people are never going to attack you for them either. Now, the last card we have is gratitude. What can you appreciate right now? What do you need to do to practice and invite gratitude into your life? We have the 6 of Pentacles. And I actually really like this card as a sense of gratitude because the Six of Pentacles is about having an equal exchange of energy between you and another person. So gratitude is like, maybe you, oh, actually, this can be a difficult card. It's Spirit was like, no, Kloee, stop this. It can be difficult because sometimes we don't want to see these things, but it's true. So try not to look at your bills like they are the worst thing ever. Remind yourself that you're not out there in the sky holding up a satellite. You get to pay for a service that gives you internet. You get to pay for a service that, I'm trying to think, like, I don't know, like a streaming service. Or I think it's really easy to get caught up in this idea that like, everything's too expensive. I can't afford anything, da 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 da. But when you actually start to show gratitude for the things that you're able to put money towards because they're services that you don't have to go out there and run yourself, it like reframes the whole thing. And Spirit is saying in order to invite more money into your life specifically, you need to start being more grateful for the ways in which you're able to pay for your life right now. That doesn't mean that you don't want more. It doesn't mean that you're trying to invite more bills into your life. In fact, when you are grateful for the things that you're able to pay for to sustain your lifestyle, it actually creates more sustainability, believe it or not. I know this from personal experience as well. So I know that might be a hard thing to hear, and it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but your guides are saying that it's really important that you show more gratitude for the things that you're able to afford right now, especially if you're somebody that's struggling with money. Showing gratitude for what you can do will invite more of that in. Now, the next two cards we are going to read out of the book that came with them because there's no way I could memorize all of these cards. Like, truly, I could sit here and try to pretend that I know what they're about, but I actually think the book gives really good examples. So we're going to read them. And we have for you the calling. And we also have rite of passage. So I feel like these kind of go hand in hand, if I'm being totally honest with you. They seem like cards that would go together. So we're just going to pull up the book that came with these. We're going to start with the calling and see what that's about. This is one of those books that actually put all of the cards, the ones that start with the, under T. I feel like a lot of decks won't do that. They'll skip the word the. But let's see. The calling. Benevolent guides support soul connections star family. Ooh. You may notice your guides imparting signs in various ways. Through uncanny synchronicities such as number sequences that keep showing up in random places, messages that seem to be on repeat throughout your day, or coincidences that feel like divine orchestration. The language of how we each receive our own messages can also come in dreams, images, or feelings that surface within our subconscious. Communication may also show up through chance encounters or moments when we are protected from an unforeseen disturbance. Let the signs that seek your attention shine through. Open your heart and hear the call of your own sweet guides. You may call on them whenever you need, and they are always with you. Dang, that is like such a direct message from your guides here too, to basically just say that you're not asking them for enough. Like literally rely on them more. They want you to rely on them more. And I feel like that's something that even I forget as somebody that works with guides all the time, other people's guides. It's interesting to me that like even I would forget that, you know, sometimes we just don't ask for enough. And then we have a rite of passage, swimming towards the horizon. The obstacle is the doorway. Oh, isn't that the truth? We do not grow just once, nor do we heal just once. Over and over again, each rite of passage comes with its own milestones and lessons. Some may feel small, while others appear insurmountable. These may guide us inward, deepening our connection to self. In other moments, they guide us outward, into spaces and experience that make our world even larger. Either way, we awaken to a new wonder. If you are feeling lost, overwhelmed, or that a certain goal is too big, see this as an indication of the scope of your dreams. The currents always shift, and they are here to prepare you for the next vital stage. Your feelings are the navigation points that help you move with perseverance. This is not meant to be easy, and time is of the essence. You may be challenged beyond belief, but to endure this last test, trusting that you are more than capable, is to prepare you for anything. Anchor into the intention of your spirit and cross this next doorway into your new way of being. Ooh. I really liked that line that said, "This is not meant to be easy and time is of the essence. You may be challenged beyond belief, but to endure this last test, trusting that you are more than capable is to prepare you for anything." And that really is true. Like, I like using personal stories to relate because I think it really helps to amplify the reading. But in my own life, many of you know, especially if you listen to my podcast or if you've been here for a long time. If you haven't, hello, my name's Kloee Taylor. I grew up with really abusive parents. And recently I was reconnecting with my mom over Easter, and we didn't get into it, but we had a conversation that 3 years ago would have absolutely gutted me. I would have absolutely been crying for weeks. I would have been pissed. I would have written her off for the next year. I would have gone no contact, which also a very valid thing to do when you have somebody disrupt your boundaries like that. But at first, when this happened, I was so sad. And I went to my guides and I was like, no more. No more. I'm not willing to put up with this shit again. This is like, I couldn't even tell you how many times something like this has happened. And I'm not willing anymore. And that was the answer that I received back, was like, but look at how strong you are. Look at how you don't let people disrupt your boundaries anymore. Look at how you don't people please anymore. Look at how much this relationship made you the person you are today. Even though it was hard, look at the person you've become. And honestly, Kloee Taylor, standing here before you right now, proud of the person I am, in love with the person that I am. I have actually such good self-esteem. And I think that came from having to go through a lot of really uncomfortable conversations and basically have myself cut down over and over and over and over and be like gaslit and have my reality denied to me over and over and over. That now I'm at a point where it doesn't even give me like an ounce of refrain to say that out loud to thousands of people that my parents were, I wouldn't say are, but were very abusive. In the past, I would have felt way too small to even say something like that. But now it is a part of my story. It is a part of where I've come from, and nobody can take that away from me. It's the reality and the truth of the situation. And no matter how those people want to deny that reality to me, it was the truth. And I don't flinch when I talk about it because I lived it, right? I don't need that validation. And the reason I'm bringing this up to you is that sometimes it's in those really hard conversations, those tough decisions that we don't want to make. It is the rite of passage. It brings you to a version of yourself that you never would have become without those things. And I could go on this thread for days and days. Honestly, I have so many experiences that line that up to being the truth, but I'll spare you the details. Let's keep going on to your reading. So we have heal yourself through internal love and unconditional self-acceptance. Forgiveness will set you free. So let me read that one more time. Also, this is card number 13. It says, heal yourself through internal love and unconditional self-acceptance. Forgiveness will set you free. And I feel like this card, it's all about like self-forgiveness. It could be forgiveness of somebody else as well, but self-forgiveness, self-compassion, unconditional love. That's the direction you need to be headed in. And then we have create, nurture your creative energy. So literally, whatever you want to do, become, or have, you are being given the confirmation that you can, that you're capable, that you're allowed, that you should. And I hate the word should. I really do. I have a weird relationship with that word because who is even the person that gets to say what we should do? It's not Kloee Taylor. It's not your guides. You get to decide what you should do and shouldn't do. But if you've been needing a permission slip, if that would make it easier for you, here it is. Create. If you have something that you believe is on your heart that you need to put out there, don't let anything stop you from doing it. And then we have the last two cards are more like journal prompts for you that you can reflect on now. You can journal about them later. It's totally up to you. The first one says, what has been consuming my mind recently? And do I have any regrets? So what's been consuming your mind lately? Is it something that actually serves you, or is it something that needs to be maybe looked over a little harder? And do you live your life with regrets? Why or why not? And that is what I have for you. Thank you so much to Tarot Stack once again for sponsoring today's video. Again, every single deck that was used here today you can find on Tarot Stack. I highly encourage supporting them because they do support independent creators, and I know that that is just such a wonderful thing in today's world of like mass marketing in particular. So definitely check them out. They're fantastic. Check out their new deck that's coming out. It looks so freaking stunning. I'm so excited about it. And if you would like to support me as a creator more around the web, do check out my Patreon. There is exclusive content that goes out every single week. We have community events, weekly energies. There's going to be Taurus predictions. If they're not up today, they will be up tomorrow at the latest, but I'm pretty sure the day that this video goes out, they're going to be out. So keep your eyes peeled for those on the Patreon. And if you'd like to support me more, of course, I have my course available to you that I always am going to recommend. It's available on my website. It's $12. It's called The Authentic Self. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so as well. Recently, I have restocked, so make sure you get those while you can. They're at KhloeTaylor.com, the only place that you can book a reading. You can also follow me around the web. I'm at Kloee Taylor on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, everywhere you name it, that is the name. And we also have my podcast, Divine Authenticity, new episodes every single Monday morning. I also just started a YouTube channel for it where there is now video episodes for the podcast. They go out a little bit later in the day on Monday, but we premiere them every week. You can come and be there in the chat when they go live. This coming Monday's episode is going to be so good. I get like so ranty and passionate in the episode about topics that I really feel like are just going to hit with y'all. So make sure you check that out. And if you would like to support me even further, never an expectation, always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal listed down below, as well as my wish list. And it is Taurus season. My birthday is coming up. But again, no expectations on that. That's like if you just feel like being extra giving. I'm never out here trying to beg for that. So if you do, though, much appreciation, everything down below. And is there anything else? I think that's everything. I love you so much. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I will talk to you next time. Bye. All right, pile number 3. So this is going to be your reading. Your spirit guides just want to talk. But before we get into that, I just want to let you know that today's video is sponsored by Tarot Stack, and I love working with them. Y'all already know if you've been here for a long time. Tarot Stack is an online company that allows you to purchase independent and hard to find tarot decks. And in fact, each deck that you see here today is from Tarot Stack. Every deck in the reading is from Tarot Stack. And right now, they actually just opened their pre-order for the Creatives Compass Oracle deck, which I am so freaking excited to get my hands on this deck. Look at how like beautiful it looks. It looks so stunning and gorgeous, and I can't wait to have it in my collection. So if you think you might like to as well, be sure to check it out down below. I will link every deck down below as well that we use today in your reading. You actually chose the Dreamy Moons Tarot, which if you've been here for a while, you already know. This is actually one of my like all-time favorite tarot decks. I recently showed it off in my I've Read for Millions. These are my favorite decks. Literally, this is one of my favorite decks of all time. I use this when I read for myself personally, like in my off time. The cards are just stunning, gold foiled and watercolor, and just, bless. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into your reading. So the way that this is going to be ultra personalized is that each of these first four cards, they come from a deck that allows you to like basically customize every reading. And these are the 4 things that your guides wanted to talk to you about the most. So I'm going to read these to you first. And then we also have more oracle cards and just like so much juicy information to get into. So first and foremost, we have Accept, which is a processing card. And I have to bring it up to my face because I wear glasses and I can't see when they're down there. It says, accept, to acknowledge, to recognize, to register as true, to validate, to affirm, to own. So we'll find out what that's about in a second. Each of these are going to have something to clarify them. So I'm just telling you what the categories are, and then we're going to get into it. The second card is excuse. This is a shadow work card, and it says, what excuses are you making to escape and avoid your problems? How have you been refusing to take ownership and responsibility for your reality? Ooh, Chile. We have subconscious, which is another shadow work card. And it says, what ideas, thoughts, or feelings are hiding from your conscious awareness right now? What are the unknown narratives and beliefs that are driving the way you see yourself in the world? What is emerging within you? What needs to be seen? Interesting. Living. Okay. And then lastly, we have a light work. So 2 shadow works and a light work. This one says synchronicity. What are the signs and meaningful coincidences that surround you now? What do you need to pay attention to? So we're going to get answers to every single one of these right now. I'm just going to put them back where I found them. Okay. So first and foremost, accept, to acknowledge, to recognize, to register as true, to validate, to affirm, and to own. I think y'all are going to love this. You got the High Priestess. And when it comes to validating yourself within this to me really is about self-validation, because the High Priestess is somebody that is able to see the unknown and the known world. They are highly psychic. You do not need to explain yourself to anyone, okay? If you are here listening to this reading, the thing that you need to accept is that you are psychic. And that's not just like oh, you're special, which you are special just because you are, but it's that everybody is inherently psychic. Like, I've totally heard people in my comments be like, oh, it's hard to be psychic. No, it isn't. Everybody has psychic gift, and it's whether, like, some people might be more naturally inclined to it. Some people might hone their skills a little bit more dedicatedly. Dedicatedly, is that even a word? Anyways, some people might dedicate more time to honing their psychic ability, but this doesn't mean that it's just not accessible to everyone. This is something that everybody has the power to possess, but you need to stop telling yourself that you don't be knowing some things, because you are literally being told by your spiritual team that your intuition is correct. And something that I always want to tell y'all is, don't get it twisted. Don't let your anxiousness confuse you and make you think that your anxiety is where the intuition is. Let me tell you how you're going to know, so we don't get this confused. I talked about this in my last reading as well. Like last Friday, we covered this. Your intuition will whisper, your anxiety will scream. That is the biggest difference. And the best way that I can explain this to you is in my own experience. Trigger warning, we're going to talk a little bit about a few little medical things. So if that's something that bothers you, just like skip ahead 3 minutes or so. But probably not even that long, but just to be safe. In my own life, where I have seen this manifest, is I was having gallbladder problems. I had surgery scheduled, but it was really bad. I ended up with pancreatitis. I ended up being hospitalized for 5 days and having to have emergency surgery. However, before all of that took place, I was laying in my bed, playing video games, trying to chill, and I heard in my own head, my own voice, it was very calm, but it said, you need to put your shoes on, you need to go to the hospital. And I was like, okay. And I just listened to it. It was very calm. I wasn't panicking. I wasn't freaking out. I got up. I had my husband take me to the hospital. By the time I was inside the emergency room, I had the worst gallbladder attack I've ever had. They had to give me Dilaudid, which is like the insane version of morphine. It's like morphine on steroids, because I was in so much pain. It like... I don't even want to rehash that scenario because it sucked. That was like such a bad time of my life. But in any case, going to the hospital, being told I needed to go, by my own voice, my own intuition, it was calm. It wasn't, you need to go to the hospital right now, right now. Like there was no, oh my gosh, something bad's going to happen. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. That's not how your intuition works. It will calmly let you know what needs to happen. And another way that you can explain this is like, if you're somebody that's afraid of flying, your anxiety will tell you, oh my God, the plane's going to crash. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But your intuition, if the plane was actually going to crash and it was not your time and you weren't supposed to be on that plane, your intuition will softly tell you to get off the plane. That's the difference. You're not going to have this like super over the top panicked feeling when it comes to your intuition. It's always a soft, calm, forward moving energy. So you need to be trusting your intuition. You need to accept that you have intuitive gifts. You need to accept that you are right about your instincts. Don't be doubting yourself out here. Now, what excuses are you making to escape and avoid your problems? How have you been refusing to take ownership and responsibility for your reality? We have the Four of Stars. Ooh, that Spirit, why you gotta bring that in here? Gosh, I hate being the person that has to give these messages sometimes. Like, I love it, and that's why it's my job, because I have a true passion for it. But I feel like the things I'm about to say are something that not everybody is going to be so excited to hear. Okay. The excuse is you are so chained to this idea that you are poor, that you live in poverty, that you can never make more than you currently have. And this doesn't have to be actually money. It can be just like a scarcity mindset in general. And scarcity mindset is an excuse, because if you think about true abundance to me is nature. You go outside, you look at nature. Nature does not question whether it should be growing. It just does. Nature literally feeds us. It has the ability to house us if we want to make some makeshift housing out of nature. And something that I think we often forget is that you are part of nature. You are part of the ecosystem of this planet. And nature supports all living things. There literally is no scarcity. Yes, there can be time periods where finances are thin. There can be really traumatizing financial experiences that you've been through. That I'm not trying to negate that or bypass that with spirituality. And in fact, I think it is not in your best interest to do that. Don't spiritually bypass. Work through those things. But the thing is, it's an excuse that you keep telling yourself that you can't have more. And the fact of the matter is, you can have more. There is nothing different between you and the next person that makes millions. The only difference is that they believe they're worthy of it, they believe they're capable, and they will go after making it. You tell yourself that you're not worthy, that you shouldn't have it, that it's like all of these negative feelings come up, and feelings of scarcity when it comes to abundance, when in reality, you're not meant to just pay bills and die. Like, I'm sorry if that was the belief system that you had. You're not supposed to be here just to pay bills and die. Like, there is so much more potential in your life for so much more joy. You haven't even met every person that's going to love you yet in your lifetime, no matter how old you are. And the excuse is that, like, you have to live in this. And I feel like this is actually something that I don't hear enough people talk about. And that is, so many of us are married to complaining. We're married to, and again, don't spiritually bypass. I'm not saying that you don't need to get your feelings out there. You're allowed to express yourself. And in fact, that's literally why, like, therapists have jobs, is because they're meant to hear the ways in which we're unhappy with situations, with our lives, with our minds, etc. And so, like, I'm not saying don't ever complain. But if you are somebody that is a chronic complainer about how you are living in scarcity, things can never get better, oh, woe is you that you cannot change this situation, you need to ask yourself what kind of steps you can take to actually change the situation. Because I bet there are things you could be doing, but the reality of the situation is it's going to make you have to stop doing something that maybe you really enjoy doing, or it could even be quote unquote self-sabotage, which is really just outdated coping mechanisms that are comfortable, that maybe you even do on autopilot. You're going to have to change those things. Like, it's like when people say, like, I don't know how to manage money, I just spend it and it just, like, goes right through my fingers. No, the reality is that you don't discipline yourself and you don't have a budget. And it's going to require putting in effort to learn about money and create a budget. That's the long and short of it. Like, stop telling yourself that you don't know how. Tell yourself you don't know how yet. Because you don't have to live here in scarcity. You don't have to live barely being able to make ends meet. You're not here just to work until you die. Like, the end. Like, you are not supposed to just be here to pay bills and die. You are meant to actually live, and stop speaking this over your life because it's not getting you anywhere. And there is so much more to be explored here. I would encourage you to go over this like in a journal if that feels comfortable for you, about especially with finances, because the Four of Stars is like the Four of Pentacles. Excuse me. So like it's time to take responsibility for where you are in your life right now and make changes to get the results that you want. Then we have subconscious. What ideas, thoughts, or feelings are hiding from your conscious awareness right now? What are the unknown narratives and beliefs that are driving the way you see yourself and the world? What is emerging within you? What needs to be seen? We have the Magician. So, you think you can't create change, when in reality, you can literally create any way you want out of this situation. And I think that is actually eating you alive. You are so like, again, I know that my job is very triggering. Like that's literally what tarot card readers do, is trigger people to change. And it comes with the territory. Not always. Sometimes reading is like messages from loved ones that you needed to hear. Like it doesn't always have to be that way, but the job is very triggering to others. And I feel like that makes me uncomfortable sometimes, and it makes me hate this job. If I could just level with you for a minute. Because I know that this message is not easy to hear, because it's not easy for me to say. And that is that you can actually become addicted to complaining. You can become addicted to feelings of chaos, to cycles of unpredictability. And it's actually way more common and normal than you think to live in that. And it's often because early in childhood, that was probably your experience. And please remember, I'm not a therapist. I am not a trauma therapist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. This is not meant to replace mental health help, okay? I am just giving you the information that is coming through. But you can become addicted to those things. And it can become the thing that you even bond with other people, like bond with other people over. And if you find like peace in your life, sustainability, stability, if you feel more comfortable in cycles of chaos where you have less, you will continue to sabotage your efforts and put yourself in those situations because they feel like home. This is the same thing when like you meet a really kind person, or like maybe you get together with somebody as a partner that's like actually a good person for you, but you sabotage the relationship because it feels uncomfortable, because it's actually a safe environment and they're like a safe person, because you are used to feelings of chaos. And Spirit is saying this might even be happening on an unconscious level for you, that you are experiencing this like need to like put yourself in chaotic situations because it's what you have been used to, but it doesn't make you feel good regardless. It's not something that you're like, oh, now I'm in this chaotic situation and I feel great. It doesn't feel good. And you keep asking yourself how you keep getting here. But ultimately, you have the power to change this. Nobody is coming to save you from this. You are the only person that can dig yourself out. And this doesn't mean don't ask for help. This doesn't mean don't like reach out to your spiritual team. This doesn't mean don't reach out to a therapist if that calls to you. This doesn't mean that you don't reach for more tools, more help, more assistance. But it does mean that ultimately at the end of the day, you are the number one person that's going to dig you out. And this is what needs to be seen right now. Your guides really need you to understand that you are the only person that's coming for you to change this situation, to make it to where you have more stability, to where you can feel better about your situation. And they believe in you, and they want you to believe in yourself as much as they believe in you. And then we have synchronicity. What are the signs and meanings, coincidences that surround you right now? What do you need to pay attention to? We have the Three of Stars. So you might even constantly have people or things that keep getting put in your path that you're not paying enough attention to. And I say that because the Three of Stars is all about divine support. It's like the support of people, the support of mentors, it's divine support. It's people that get put in your path, or it's also situations that keep cycling in your life, right? This is where like maybe you get to this place where like you make a bunch of money and then all of a sudden that money runs out and you're back in this place of feeling unstable. Or again, maybe you feel like you sabotage all relationships in your life. This reading to me is very rooted in a lot of self-sabotaging behavior. And I'm not saying these things because I want you to be ashamed of yourself. Because something that you also need to know is that when you sabotage things in your life, it's not because you are a terrible person or that you should be shamed. It's actually that, kind of like I think I stated this earlier in your reading. It's actually that at one point in time, that was how you got your needs met. And all you're trying to do is meet your needs. But now the coping mechanisms that you had aren't working with the new version of your life. And so now it just creates unwanted conclusions instead of actually the desired reality you're looking for. So it's really important that as things kind of loop, as you go through experiences, you need to become aware of the loop because you can change it. You can create a new path out of it. And you're meant to. You are being given the tools to pull yourself out. It's really important that you have faith in yourself right now, more so than anything else, that you feel empowered to pull yourself out. Now, we also have for you the card of sovereignty. I told you this was about you. Oh, I'm actually really glad that card came out. If I could just admit something, y'all are getting the real authenticity pile number 3. If I could just admit something for a second, sometimes when I channel these readings, I start to feel uncomfortable because I'm like, people are not going to people are going to hate this message. It's not going to help anyone. And then I see a card that totally matches up with exactly what I was saying. So I'm actually really happy that card came out. And then we have restful pause. Now, I know what one of these cards means, but I'm going to read it to you anyways from the book because I don't know every card in this deck and the descriptions are just so beautiful that I would rather you hear it from there. So, I mean, obviously we know what the word sovereignty means. It is somebody that is sovereign unto themselves, that reclaims their own power. So we have sovereignty, carefree nature, reclaiming your power. And it says, when you are in a state of reclaiming your sovereignty, there may be moments that build up to a difficult crescendo. When radical change becomes necessary for your wellness and bliss, bit by bit, layer by layer, without even realizing it, you may find yourself loosening the tethers you had once left unnoticed. Let your wings unfold and feel yourself lighten. Do not be discouraged by the bumps in the road. When we are faced with a new trajectory, it is vital that we embrace the journey that is necessary to get us to our final destination, even if the direction is within us. As a sentient being, you came here to grow. Sometimes this process involves releasing, then accepting the tides that come with this act of faith. Letting go often gives room to breathe into a new space of freedom. This is the power of blooming sovereignty. Ooh, I got the chills. Then we also got restful pause, which I feel like this is going to be a nice card too, which says birthing process, purification, and stillness. And this card says, you are still at the helm of many different futures. You may see these visibly unfolding ahead of you, waiting to be written. Perhaps these scenarios populate your thoughts and take up space in your mind. You may feel the past leaning into your current sphere, pressing you to make a move. This card is inviting you to ignore the imaginary scenarios and the ruminations of what you should, be doing next. It wants you to ignore the past as well. Take a moment and feel the present moment. Take in the details of your current surroundings. Feel the air on your skin and the inhalation and exhalation of each breath. Use this simple pause no matter where you are at this time as the chamber where you meet your spirit. Feel your energetic umbilical cord connecting with your higher self. Whenever you need to recenter yourself, remember the present space you are in. Breathe into it. Here, time does not exist. So this is almost like a guide for how to move through rough water, taking restful pause and knowing that it's safe to do so. Then we have for you, everyone in your life is teaching you something. Are you learning? And I feel like this also goes in tandem with every situation is also teaching you something. Even if things repeat, even if you feel like you've moved on from something in your life that was once really hard and then all of a sudden it resurfaces, which totally happens, by the way, know that there's a reason. There's always something to be learned from those experiences, always something to garner. And then we have mystery, secrets, and hidden meanings. So I also feel like this goes hand in hand with the synchronicity card. So unfold the mystery. Unfold the mystery that is your life even more. Commit to that, to trying to see what can't be seen, trying to know what can't be known. And I honestly feel like the more you think you know, you'll know that you're on the right path when you have more questions than answers. Now, these last two cards that I have for you, pile number 3, are just questions to journal on or to ponder on as this reading comes to a close. We have, what is my body telling me right now? And I would highly encourage reading The Body Keeps the Score if you're interested in learning more about that. But your body actually holds so much wisdom for you. We're not all just floating heads. We're not all just these cerebral beings. We have the body that also tells us information. Excuse me. And then we have, what is an important lesson I learned recently? And that is what I have for you, pile number 3. Thank you so much to Tarot Stack for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to check out all of the decks down below, as well as that pre-order for the Creative's Compass Oracle, because it looks hot fire flames. And if you would like to support me more around the web, I do have my Patreon where exclusive content goes out every single week. And I also have my course, Finding the Authentic Self, if you want to expand on your healing journey with me as your guide through a 20-page workbook with some audio files that also will help you. I would encourage you to check that out. It's $12 on my store at KhloeTaylor.com. You can also book me for a private reading if you feel like you are in need of one. I did just recently restock, so make sure you grab one. I also do astrology charts, not just readings, not just tarot readings, and you can get those again at KhloeTaylor.com. If you want to follow me around the web, I'm at Kloee Taylor everywhere: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I also have my podcast, new episodes available every single Monday. We recently just started putting the podcast up on YouTube as well, so the YouTube channel will be linked down below for you if you want to check that out. And if you're feeling generous and you want to give to me more, it is my birthday season as a Taurus. No expectations, but I do have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, and my wish list down below for you if you'd like to see it. Again, please know that there's never an expectation. It's just if you're feeling extra generous and you want to send a little something, something my way, feel free to do so, because Taurus season is lit. And is there anything I'm forgetting? I don't think so. I think I've told you about everything, except please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.